I'm Jennifer Mata-McMahon. Welcome to another life chat video. This is going to be another update on the move situation that is going on right now. So let's get into it. So I had shared with you last week that we had several options of possible rentals to look into. And what has happened this past week is that none of them panned out. Because two of them don't have a backyard, a fenced-in backyard, and the other two, one has a fenced-in backyard, and the other two both had fenced-in backyards, but one was a house, and I talked to the owner of the house, and it turns out it doesn't have central AC, so that was a no. The other two didn't have, as I said, fenced-in backyards, so I think that those are going to be a no. So there's only one of those four that actually has a fenced-in backyard. I did look for more options. I haven't really found one that I like for the price. And what happened was Mike was away this past weekend in San Diego, and I was left alone with the dogs, and that's going to be the situation. If I take the dogs with me, I'm going to be left alone with the dogs in Baltimore, and so I'll have to walk them in the mornings, walk them in the afternoon, be there for them constantly. And what I've found is that walking them, both dogs, at the same time is the pits. I don't know how Mike does this every morning of his life, because one dog wants to go one way, one dog wants to go the other, and they're very stubborn. Charlie in particular is very, very stubborn. I'll show you a picture of Charlie. He's the cutest thing ever, but he's 14 years old and he's set in his ways and he is stubborn, and he just doesn't want to cooperate. And when he gets it in his mind that he wants to go in a certain direction, that's the way we have to go. If not, you have to literally pick him up, and he's 22 pounds, so he's not, he's not light feathered, and pick him up and carry him in the direction that you want to go if it's not the one that he wants to go in. Maxie is more accommodating, but for example, yesterday, there was a noise, and Max is really scared of loud noises, like fire, what do you call them? Firecrackers, or not firecrackers. Is it firecrackers? I don't know. Fireworks. That's the word I'm looking for. So he's scared of those loud noises, and when he hears that, he turns around and wants to go home. And there's no convincing him of moving forward, right? Of continuing to go the direction that we were going. And if Charlie does want to go there, Charlie is not easily convinced. When Charlie wants to go in a certain direction and Maxie wants to go in a different direction, you can easily convince Max to go this way, and he'll go. The other case, vice versa, is not that easy. You cannot convince Charlie to go in a direction that you don't want him to go. But when Max gets scared and he wants to go home, you have him pulling to go back home and Charlie pulling to go in the direction that he had set his mind to go to. So here you are, like this, being pulled by two little dogs that are very, very, have a lot of strength, imagine that. You wouldn't expect that from them, but they are very strong and they can pull you strongly in opposite directions, and it's the pits. And yesterday, because we were in that, I want to go this way, I want to go that way, and I just wanted to go and have them do their business so that we could come back home because it was going to rain. Well, of course, we took so much time in that pulling in every direction that we got rained on, and by the time we got back home, we were soaked, all of us, all three of us. So I realized, I can't be in a home with two dogs where I have to walk them every day, twice a day, because there's no backyard. I need to have a backyard in which I open the door and they go out to the yard and do their business. And if I can walk them once a day, I will. But if I can't walk them for whatever reason, there's a backyard and they can go out and they can do their business there and they can run. If it's a sufficiently big backyard, they can run and roam and walk. And so that's also the reason why I don't want not only not to have a backyard, but I don't want a small or tiny backyard. And the townhomes in the city tend to be like that. The ones that do have a little patio, it's typically concrete or it's tiny. And even if I fill it up with plants and I have a lot of greenery out there, it's not going to be grass. So it's not going to be a place where they can, like roll around. And so that has made the search a little bit difficult, and it has narrowed it down. So there's one place. It's really close to the university. It's small. It's a town home, so it's one of these row homes, as they call it there, and it has a little pad in the back for me to park. So that's another thing too. Most of these houses or most of these places don't have parking, which to me is like bizarre. It's a different dimension. Like, what are you supposed to do with your car? Put it on your head? Like, where am I supposed to park, right? So, so that's another thing. We need to find a place. I need to find a place that is that has a backyard, that has a place to park, and that has all of our other requirements in terms of number of bedrooms and bathrooms and whatnot. So I'm still in the lookout for one that meets all the requirements in terms to rent. But then I started thinking, I really don't want to rent, because again, what I explained last week, I feel like that's throwing my money away. But I didn't want to rush into buying either. But the thing is, I think that if we can find a place that is similar to the ones that I'm going to rent, it's either a row home or a smaller house that is not that expensive, that I can live in, that has the backyard or has the possibility. Because if I'm buying, see, that's the other thing. If I'm buying, I can fence in my backyard if it's not fenced in, right? Because it's going to be my property. So I can add a fence to it for the boys. So I'm thinking of that. So if I find a place that is not too expensive, that has the possibility of either having already a fenced-in backyard or the possibility of buying and building a fence for it, and has a place for me to park my car, preferably a garage where it's covered, then I think that would be the best option. And so I went in yesterday and I spent hours. This weekend I've spent hours looking for places. I also spent hours working on a paper, which I finished. Yay. I'm glad. One of the things I had pending is done. Now I have to film it because I'm not going to be able to be there in person, so I'm going to film me presenting that paper so that they can show it at the conference. In any case, I found, in all the hours of search, I found a few houses and row homes or townhomes that could potentially work for us, if there is a possibility of installing the fence in some of them, or some of them already have the fence. But I'm looking for something that is within a margin that is not at the top of what we can pay, but it's more towards the mid-low range of what we can pay, so that if we need to sell it in a couple years, or if we can't sell it, but we have to rent it because we need to move somewhere else that's closer to Mike's job whenever he finds a job, then not all of our money is going to be put there. Or, I want a place that is not that expensive, that could potentially be more of an investment than our forever home. So I'm looking at that, and I have a few options on the table. I want to show them to Mike, and the thing is, I'm not there, so I can't go see them and see if they're truly options, and I'm not there to also sort of roam around the neighborhood to see what kind of neighborhood it is and if I like it. There's a couple places that I've seen in a place that we did see when we were there, in a neighborhood that we roamed because we went to see a house in that neighborhood, and the house, we didn't necessarily like that house, but the neighborhood was okay, so that could potentially be an option. There's 2 places there that I saw that I liked for purchasing that might work. We'll see. I'm going to show them to Mike and see what he thinks, and maybe contact the realtor. Maybe he can go see these homes and FaceTime me and show me what he's seen, and potentially help us make a decision on buying. I'm going to contact him because he offered that when we were there last. He said, I could potentially see houses and FaceTime you and show these to you if you're interested in buying and you're not able to physically be here, because apparently 20 years ago when he moved to the Baltimore area, he did the same thing in the sense that he was there for a week and they had to buy a house and move, and then that's how they bought their house. And during a weekend they just went in and saw a bunch of places and said, okay, this one's it, and that's what happened. And I would have loved for that to have happened to us last weekend when we were there. That was our intent, but that didn't happen. So we came back and we still didn't know what we were going to do. And the thing is, I think that because there's the 2 options there, the rent or the buy option, and we're not completely 100% attached, married to one of these 2 options, we keep on going back and forth. Oh, well, but if we rent, what are our options? Oh, if we buy, what are our options? And we keep on going back and forth, and then that's what's making it difficult. But I really think that I'm thinking now, because of the options that are out there to rent, that I want to buy, and want to buy something, again, mid to low range, so maybe not as big as we need or want, but that has the possibility of a fenced-in backyard, and that has either a garage or a possibility of parking really close to my house, either in the driveway or that has a driveway, because some of these places don't even have a driveway or don't have a parking pad, don't have a garage, so that has something that I can park my car and the backyard for the boys. So that's where we're at. This Sunday I'm flying out to DC for a leadership summit with NAYC, with NACY, and I'm going to be there until Wednesday, and Wednesday I'm flying back. And I was thinking maybe I could rent a car and get away for the day or half a day or something like that, and go up to Baltimore and check out some places. So I'm going to call my realtor and I'm going to ask him if it's possible to do that, to set up some of these homes for viewing in that time, and if it's possible for me to get away and do that would be great, because I could actually see some of these places. As much as renting without seeing a place makes me nervous, buying is like that exponentially, right? It makes me tons of nervous to think about I'm buying a place and I haven't even seen it, just by looking at the FaceTime of the. But if that's the case, if we get to that, well, we'll have to trust that whatever the realtor shows us and his opinion, because of being there, his opinion is going to be very valuable. If I can't get away and drive up there and see some of these places. But hopefully I'll try to do that, because I think that that's going to be my best bet. But yeah, that's where we are in terms of the places and the move. And in terms of work-wise, how much I've accomplished is, well, I finished that paper. I need to record me reading it. But I already informed the people at the conference that I wasn't going, and I'm going to this summit for work also next week. And so those 2 things will have been done. I still need to work on my certification and study for that test and take the test. It's it's all online, so it's on me. It's on however I can, or how much I can organize myself to, and how quickly I can do it. So so I haven't done that yet, but hopefully I'll get that done next week. And there's another conference I want to submit a paper to. It's based on this same topic, so I just have to rewrite and extend and reorganize some of that same information and submit it to AERA, and I need to also I want to submit it to a journal for publication. So that's the other thing that's sort of pending. Once all of that is done, I feel like I'm going to feel a little more accomplished and settled work-wise. I also have to start prepping my classes for next term, and I've already gotten emails and things of the GA, the graduate assistants working within our program, and the courses I'm going to be teaching, and the professor that formerly taught those courses is sharing her materials with me, and there's a lot going on. But in any case, I think that's what's going to be accomplished. The other 2 papers that I want to work on and submit, I think they're going to have to wait. They're going to have to wait until either the end of August or September for me to be able to focus on those, update them, and submit them. I want to submit those 2 and to also get them out for publication next year. They've been on my to-do list for a while. I have an idea of another paper that I want to write as well, but that one's very, very crude in terms of it's in my mind still. Nothing's out yet. All these other things that I've been talking about have already been started, written. Some things have been either presented, and some things have been written already, and I just have to work on them a bit to be able to submit them or resubmit them to places. So that's where I'm at. I will keep you posted of what happens next week, if I'm able to see homes, if we're able to find a place. Keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I am still very stressed, as you might see in my face. I'm breaking out. My skin isn't loving me right now, and because I'm so stressed, and I know that that's what it is. I haven't been sleeping all that well, and sometimes I sleep and it's just, I wake up and everything aches because I know that I'm processing things in my sleep, and I wake up stressed. So I think that's the name of the game right now, is exponential stress. But we'll get there. Things will work out, and hopefully I'll be here next week with great news. We'll see. Keep your fingers crossed for me, and I will see you next time. Bye.